GPVWC Formula Challenge World Championship. My name is Matthew Chogi Churgwin. Joining me on commentary this evening for round 14 of this World Championship is Mr. Philip Morby. Say good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
And on cameras this evening, please say, back with us is Mr. Cameron Brewster, and it is our pleasure to bring you round 14 from the land of the rising sun. And we find ourselves this evening at the stunning Suzuka race circuit with 5.8 kilometres of fast-flowing, undulating tarmac. It always provides a superb challenge to our drivers and great racing to watch throughout the field. And today, with a tropical storm just passing through the area, there is a most certain real chance, as you may be seeing in a few moments, of weather playing a part in tonight's race. We'll have to wait and see, though, who can weather the storm and bring home some important championship points as we start to head towards our final few races of the season. And Phil, a few drivers have been rolling the dice with the weather conditions, and unfortunately it hasn't quite worked out for a few of them so far in qualifying.
No, we're currently watching Ackland go in on dry tyres, so that didn't quite work out particularly well for him, but he's got a few minutes left to try and get another lap in, but the lap times are kind of all over the place at the moment.
But the lap times are coming down, as funnily enough, the rain is slowly starting to recede. We've been, inundated with wet weather so far this evening, and we're finally starting to have a bit of a break in it, and the lap times all and truly are coming down. Just taking P1 is Lars Brugman. He has done a 1 minute 55 dead. Currently in P2, though, is Eric Strawn. We've got our two primary championship protagonists. In P1 and P2, Eric Strawn currently on a 55.4, and rounding out our top three as it stands right now, again on a 55.4, is Jonas Ravio for Zederick Racing. So there we go. It's all very, very close at the top. I'm sure now the weather is starting to recede, drivers may consider going on to slicks, as the downforce driver did just a few moments ago, and we shall see how that one pans out.
I can't see that being a particularly good idea around here at the moment. I mean, it's just, there is a dryish line, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near. I mean, Ben Willis is going out on slicks right now as he exits the pits. He's managed to do a better job than Atkinson going out the pits, but having to tiptoe around at any kind of sort of power, and it just flicks round on him. Yeah, Simon Smith also going to give it a go, but also probably going to regret it. But we'll see how they do. Interestingly, like I said, the lap times are usually much closer than this. I mean, the top 8 are split by a second, as that's Harel Jankovic losing his front wing, who's also on slicks, and he hasn't done a lap time yet.
They're rolling the dice in a big way there. I see a few drivers making their way back to the pits. Lewis McGlade jumping into P2. Kai Arla now done a 55.2. And yeah, absolutely, we've seen some incredibly close racing from the field throughout this year's championship. Certainly, I'd say the weather really splitting things up, and well, it poses an interesting question to our drivers. Of course, park may in effect here in qualifying now for the race. Do you go with a wet setup? Do you go with a dry setup and sacrifice the qualifying? We'll have to see how those decisions pan out. But at least for the moment, McGlade up into P2, which I'm sure will be quite pleased with. Currently on another lap, running around the Dunlop curve, around a very tricky blind left-hander, which keeps going. But he is in P2, and I think he may be coming back into the pits. He's certainly not pushing at this phase, but we'll keep an eye on who's doing laps. All to play for with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to have time to get into the pits and then come out to do another lap, so if he's got enough fuel, he might as well just kind of back off a little bit here, make himself some space, and then look at doing one more lap. As I think that's Philip Koenig pushing himself up to 11th position.
Indeed, Katana Motorsports are definitely obviously drivers as it's starting to dry out, finding a bit of speed, although Koenig there just running through the first turn, tricky right-hander. You're going at full speed from the start-finish straight. Unfortunately, just run a little wide. So that lap, if he were to continue it, well, I'm sure he's lost time there anyway, but would not count. But anyway, good P11 for him right now. Just keep an eye who is circulating. Got a lot of drivers in the first sector. And this track, it is a high downforce circuit, plenty of fast-flowing corners, which certainly would tend towards a higher downforce setup, particularly with the rain as well. Quite a lot of people potentially holding each other up, so we'll have to see how people deal with that, as I believe that's Nieminen. Or Nielsen, I beg your pardon. Yes, but Nielsen for Ice Cold. He's currently in P5, but he's in the wall. In fact, driving along the wall, he's got to the first of the Degner turns. He was on slick tyres, so he was rolling the dice clearly, and he has retired back to the garage. So that's all he'll be doing. He will be P5 as it currently stands. But the rain is slowly receding. Our track is getting drier. I would say it's viable to run round on dry tyres at this point. But goodness me, you'd have to be brave to risk it. I mean, there's not enough time to leave the garage and have a go now. But let's see who is on a dry set of tyres. Well, Ravio is, but he's in the pits.
Ben Willis is currently doing a lap. He's flying through sector 1 at the moment. He's down in 30th position, so 4.4 seconds off the pace. But I just can't see how this is any faster than wets. It's just having to tiptoe around. I mean, we're going down into the 2 Degners, and you'll look here to brake quite early. Oh, he's gone for it. But he's... Oh, yeah, there he goes. Round he goes. He's going to keep out the barriers, but he's probably going to make a nice exit here as well if he kind of keeps it going. But he's just lost so much speed there. It's just not working.
Indeed, but it's perhaps the speed that you don't see, that extra mile an hour or two that you can carry, which you wouldn't be able to on the wet tyres. We saw it at World GT last week. Silverstone was a wet one there, and a choice of tyre compound in qualifying at the very least. The intermediate certainly seems to be the way to go, carrying just a bit more speed, and that was what really brought the lap times down. But anyway, I was just keeping an eye on Martin Lapassa for Team Proline this evening. He was on the dry tyre, but he dropped it at the 130R, so that's him out of it for this one.
I think that's all the dryers out. The next person to complete a lap is Nienemann. He's currently in 6th place, so 155.6. He's going to go wide. Oh, that's going to ruin the lap for him. So that won't be any quicker, I don't think. Nope, he's finishing up on that.
Yep, just pulling aside, getting out of the way. We've got Mackay, I think, there is coming through.
Same thing, I think.
Yeah, just mistake just costing you in the final stages of the lap. Yeah, just running wide out that last corner, and it's a very inviting wall, very close to the track, very easy to run into. So, just keeping an eye on who's running around. We have Johan Lindberg for YTF1. He's on the wet tyres, making his way through the final couple of corners, the Casio Triangle, as it was once called, and he's coming into the pit, so that's the end of that one. So he was in P7, and he will be in P7, as I believe he may be the last driver.
Edward Batala currently doing a lap. And number 20 and 23rd position, Riera, is going to finish a lap. No, he's coming into the pits, so it literally is all on Edward Batala as he's going through 130R. Oh, he's been through on 130R, through to the Casio Triangle. 157.1 currently has him down to 16th, but he's also, so that's the lot finished.
There we go. So we have our first grid for this evening's race. So we have Lars Brugman on pole, Lewis McGlade coming in P2 to round out that first row. Eric Strawn, our current championship drivers leader, is starting P3. Jonas Ravio for Zederik starting P4, and rounding out our top 5 is the second Ice Cold Racing driver, Jesper Nilsson. A mixed up grid, I think it's fair to say, in mixed conditions. And, well, we are towards a business end of a championship, and, well, this could very much liven things up.
It could indeed. I mean, we'll talk about the way everything's standing during the warm-up, but again, as we always say, there's always somebody cat amongst the pigeons, and it seems to be Lewis McGlade on the front row. Could be quite fun.
Indeed, and well, we had a podium a few rounds ago. I think it was at Monza. Very, very solid podium, and well, he's found himself right up at the sharp end for this one. So we'll have to wait and see what the weather holds for us. Well, you may be able to hear it's raining again. We're in warm-up now for our first race this evening. We'll have a few moments here for our drivers to get used to, well, cars on full fuel in these very challenging conditions. And while they're doing that, well, you may have noticed we're not on Sim Race TV, and we are, in fact, on YouTube for the first time, I believe, streaming.
We are indeed. It's going... we should probably point out now, apologies, kind of a few hiccups along the way. If you want to comment on how the sound is going, that's the main kind of bit of feedback we need. But yeah, it's going to prove difficult for us as well, because we're not going to have... we may talk about it in previous broadcasts. We talk about the whispers, where the cameraman can tell us of stuff happening, so we can quickly point it out. We're not going to have that feature for tonight, so we are running a little bit blinder than normal. So I'm sure Cam will be jumping in, letting us know when stuff's happening.
Yeah, first thing I'd like to mention is apologies for the name of the broadcast tonight, guys. I don't quite know why that has done that. Apparently it was a joke, and apparently I can change it. I don't know where. But yeah, we haven't got an overlay because it wasn't playing nice on my computer, and it seemingly doesn't want to work. But I will do my best to try and get footage for you guys and make sure it's almost as good as what we normally have.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interim broadcast, this one, as we kind of transition over. So some things won't work, it will be kind of scratched around the edges, but we'll have a go.
Absolutely, and well, it also brings us some other things, some other opportunities. There's a lovely live chat area which I'll be keeping an eye on, and of course, as always, we are on the Twitter. Feel free if you have any questions, queries, comments, insults you want to throw at us, whatever you like. Tweet at us at GPVWC Live using the hashtag GPVWC, and we've had some really good viewer participation so far this year. Anything you'd like to chuck into the mix, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I mean, especially YouTube's quite a fun one because we actually see everything live, so we can either respond via that or try and bring stuff live on air.
Absolutely. So, so with that, thank you for your understanding. We will get on top of it, I'm sure, over time. But it's a new day, a new dawn, and in the land of the rising sun, seems pretty fitting all in all. But there we are. Phil, Suzuka, it doesn't sit well with you, does it? It's not one of your favourites.
No, like we always have this conversation about how I love the really silly circuits. The famous ones like this, I don't like it. I don't like flowing circuits, and that Sector 1 is just usually for me, it's an absolute mess to try and get it right. So how these guys are doing it in this weather is a more interesting scenario for them. But yeah, I just don't see. It's quite a narrow circuit. The weather's obviously going to make it very interesting, but just not for me, I'm afraid.
And that's fine. Absolutely fine. I mean, so Suzuka for me, it's all about that first sector. You've got the first two turns, which are full commitment. Right-hander followed by it tightens into an even tighter right-hander. You got the S curves and then the blind Dunlop curve, which you don't know if you've got it right until you're out of it. Just an incredible challenge, and well, it's a figure eight of 8 as well. It's the only figure of 8 track that we visit on the calendar. There's lots of nice little quirks and things which are just a little bit different, and some nice corners really do liven things up. And well, we will see, I'm sure, some good racing. We always have done from the Challenge Grid. Well, Suzuka as well has always done some good racing as well. Speaking of racing, though, we've got another race going on right now, which is Open Series, and it's the first step on what we call the career ladder here at the GPVWC. We've got a whole series of open wheel racing that you can take part in, and well, we'll bring you the results of that in our interlude between the first and second races. But they are racing right now, and I expect very similar conditions. It'll be interesting to see how they manage and deal with, I'm sure, a very, very damp and soddy Suzuka track to make their way around. And,
I did like our weather website we use, which said the monsoon will be deteriorating today. It was like, oh, brilliant, a monsoon. I think if F1 was like this, well, we had it a few years ago, didn't we? We didn't run on the qualifying on the Saturday. They had to run it on the Sunday.
Yes, that's right, and that was full on monsoon conditions. I will speak English tonight if it kills me. And yes, it's not quite that bad, but it's certainly not pleasant. And these Formula cars, of course, incredibly sensitive, even to the slightest change in conditions. So it might be one of those days where actually oars are better than tyres. We'll have to wait and see. And of course, if you're not familiar with the series, we have 2 compounds or 2 sets of tyres available. We have our slick tyre, our dry racing tyre, which a few did try to use there in qualifying, didn't quite make it work. And then we have the wet tyre. There's a very definite difference in lap time you can get from those two. And certainly there will be a transition phase where the dry tyre is the right tyre to go to, but you've got to be brave to make that roll of the dice. So we'll see who is feeling lucky and gets that call absolutely right. We don't have long to wait now until our first race. We've got 2 13-lap races of this 5.8-kilometre circuit for you this evening. And, well, going into this first race, we are heading towards that business end of the championship hill. All to play for some drivers, and as you rightly mentioned, the cat has been put amongst the pigeons for this qualifying session.
Yeah, it has. I mean, we were looking at if anybody can be won or lost here. The Drivers' Championship cannot be wrapped up this evening. Technically speaking, the constructors can, but Ice Cold would have to get 1-2 in both races, and I think it's I can't remember who's actually fighting for the championship with them.
It's Team Proline who's closest. They're 231 points down currently on Ice Cold Racing, the constructors.
Yeah, they would pretty much have to get nothing from this race for it to be all wrapped up. But with conditions like this and 37 cars on the grid, yeah, anything really could happen.
Absolutely, and it usually does. This is motor racing after all. That's the classic classic quote. Anyway, so our warm-up timer has now finished. Drivers will be completing their final warm-up laps. Hopefully got used to cars on heavy fuel. Of course, these cars will be very, very light, and the addition of the fuel can, well, at least add 10, 15, 20, maybe even a third onto the dry weight of the car. So a very different animal when it's fully loaded. And as I believe we're just about to move into our race session here, everyone wishing good luck to one another, which is nice to see. A bit of sportsmanship between everyone. And we will be rotating through to our first race this evening of round 14, the GPVWC Challenge
Non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Championship. And as our factor man rings out, the rain has intensified, and it is more wet right now as I think it's ever been. As our drivers are now starting to grid up, I think it's going to be a fairly easy choice. Everyone will be on those wet tyres. Slick's definitely not right for now.
Apart from Mike Schroten, who is currently on slicks.
Oh dear, I fear that may be a mistake.
I fear that may also be a big mistake, unless he knows something we don't.
That's true. We did see to Berlac Monza last year drive a Sterling race. He just used slick tyres and he was away, no worries at all. Anyway, our grid is formed, everyone is away, and let's talk you through our first grid here for this evening. On pole position is Lars Brugman for Mad Cape Racing. He is followed by Lewis McVeigh for Kayala Racing. Eric Strawn, our current championship leader, is in P3. He's followed by Jonas Ravio for Zederick Racing. Jesper Nielsen will be starting P5 for race 1 this evening. Bryce Cole, he's followed by Irene Nieminen for Kayala. Johan Lindberg from YTF1 will be starting P7. He's followed by Niels Brugman for the Centurion Grand Prix. Rounding out our top 10 is Thomas Hint starting P9 for Arrow International. And rounding out that top 10, winner last time out in Singapore will be Patrick Vandermuller from Cosmo Autosport.
In P11 for Katana Motorsports, it's Philip Koenig with Martin Lepassa for Team Proline in 12th position. Aidan Paulson for Drake Racing in 13th, and Hans Gomibius, the other Cosmo Autosport, in 14th position. We then got down in 15th, Vince Stepanek for Team Proline, which is quite a bit further down than what he's used to in 15th place. We've then got the two Viking Racings of Edward Batala in 16th and James Ross in 17th. Daniel Taranku for Triple 20 in 18th position, and it's Scuderia Basilia's Bruno Sousa Ferreira in 19th position. And rounding out top 20, Stefan Rout for Deltec Racing Team.
Starting at P21 for race 1 this evening will be Jeffrey Fournier for Racing Team Schroep. He'll be followed by Rob Mason for Epic Racing. Our Jonas Guerrero for Racing Team Schroep will be starting at P23, and he'll be followed by Tom Mackay for Centurion Grand Prix. Mike Schroep, who was on the dry tyres, I see will now be starting from the pit lane, but he would have been P25. Adam Osger will be in P26 for Deltec Racing Team, and Sven Dirks for Dogecoin Racing will start at P27. P28 will be Joel Pierre for Triple 20, followed by Jonathan Asiclin for Downforce iZone Racing. Rounding out the top 30, Jarrod van der Velde for Dogecoin Racing.
In 31st position is Tobias Olsen for Basseville Grand Prix, and it's our very own Consai Smith, Simon Smith for Backmark Brigade down in 32nd. New name, I believe, Simon Watman for YTF1 in 33rd, and then we have Scuderia Basilia's Yari Pasha in 34th, and then in 35th position for Drake Racing is Antonio Raul Jankovic, who admitted going on dry tyres for that race was not a very good idea, and sadly down in 35th. Ben Willis for Zederick Racing in 36th, and last but no means least, Backmarker Brigade's very own Rolf Bass in 37th. Yes, it was interesting to see Schroten. He tried pulling away, and obviously, as you expect, tons of wheel spin, safely pulled off the road, and yeah, has now flicked the wets. But he'll be standing there for a while on the grid, on the pit lane.
Yeah, indeed, but you never know, it might be a wise choice if there is a big smash. We hope, of course, there isn't one. May as well be able to gain a few places through all that. So we'll wait and see how that one goes. Our leaders are now back in their grid starting positions. Everyone doing a few burnouts, trying to get some temperature into their tyres. Of course, these wet tyres will be slightly more sensitive to heat than the usual slick, so we will see who's got their cars working on these wet tyres. A different challenge this evening, but as everyone now is in their grid slots, we are on 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are racing. We're away. Everyone away well. It's Lewis McVeigh getting a slightly worse start than Lars Brugman alongside him. Brugman will have a certain lead as he runs down towards turn 1, all 2x2 as they run down into the first turn. For the first time, everyone holding station pretty much. Few movers and shakers as they run through turn 2 in the midfield, but on the whole, everyone's away nicely and well for the first race this evening.
Yep, it looks like everyone got away cleanly, no spinners by the looks of it, which is a very good start by everyone.
Absolutely. Sometimes you do fear the worst in these mixed conditions as I think that's a car off. Car off in the SCs, or was that just a bit of latency? That was just a bit of latency, thank you, Ravio in P4. Little moment there on my connection, but thankfully he's alright. He is still in P4 as we now have Strawn. He's having a look at Lewis McGade in P2. Down into the first Egner this evening. Some tricky anti-cut curbs on the exit there. Oh, contact! That was certain contact from Ravio. Did he lose anything there? No, he didn't. Oh, goodness me, a big bump. I think just a little catch out there of the braking differences.
We got this Van der Wilde is round. It's now at the back of the grid as got another car around from Pasha round as well.
Oh dear, so of course is starting to claim a few cars as they make their way through turn 10 for the first time, turn 10 and 11. They are now winding their way through the second sector. A little bit of a concertina effect. Everyone going down into the hairpin there, but a few moves being made down the grid. But it continues to be Lars Brugman leading. Lewis McGade continues to hold on to P2. They are making a slight gap now to Eric Strong P3. Pressured here by Jonas Ravio.
Yeah, there's kind of groups of cars together. It looks
like
Ravio
for P3. He's up and alongside and past before 130R. Can he get through there safely? Yes, he can. Nice move.
Yeah, seeing Van Muller taking on the passer. Looks like that went through okay. It's all looking okay at the moment so far.
Yeah, it's quite controlled, but interestingly enough, the weather, it's slightly improving, dare I say. It's getting drier all the time. Of course, having 30-odd cars running around on the dry line certainly will vacuum up some of that moisture. As we've now completed lap 1 of 13. Strawn from way back into turn 1. And, oh, God, blimey, that's cost him a couple places. Tried to overtake Ravio to get back up into P3. Thankfully was able to recover there. Only lost 1 place to his teammate. So not a massive moment there, but goodness me. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that and throwing away championship points at this phase in the championship.
Yeah, looking at the back, Troton got away okay, but he's already 30 seconds down. He hasn't even completed the first lap yet as the leader goes through into sector 2.
Yeah, indeed. That is the factor though. Starting from the pit lane, you have to wait, I believe, for everyone to finish the first sector, which is, well, it's a fairly long sector at Suzuka, so that's unfortunate for him. But there is a second race that he can recover in, and not forget that, so it's not all over yet. So as everyone now running their way through into the second sector for the second time, just keeping an eye on Strawn, recovering obviously from that moment earlier this lap. Definitely looking racier than his teammate, I think it'd be fair to say. He's currently at P5. Just dropping a little bit off the back though as they're running through here, the 200R curve, I believe it's called, turn 12 down into Spoon. But we've definitely got Nielsen starting to apply pressure now to Ravio as Nielsen runs a little wide there in the second part of Spoon. Sees an opportunity. Might he get a bit of formation flying here as they run down to 130R? We'll wait and see. It's interesting to see already a few cars that are really running a little less wing and they're really reaping the reward in top speed.
Oh, Brugman off! Brugman's gone wide. Pole position. That's surely going to give McGlade a nice run down into Casio Triangle. No, he's far enough ahead, but he's gone wide again. McGlade's going to take the lead. Nicely done.
Is indeed. Ravio very close, and here comes Strawn. He's been able to get by his teammate. Great spot, Bill there. Yeah, goodness me. Let's see if I can have a look at that on the replay. And yes, he just ran wide. Couple of curbs there just to make sure you don't gain advantage. And here comes Strawn and Nielsen. They're trying to make a way past Ravio, but Ravio defends well down into turn 1. He still holds P3, but yes, just a mistake. Momentary lapse there by looks at from Brugman. That's cost him the lead, although he's not that far behind McGlade at this point. So McGlade leads on lap 3 of 13. Still a long way to go in this one.
It is indeed, and yeah, the Ice Colts in 4th and 5th are going to do quite well. We can't really say make haste while the sun shines, but it's definitely not shining. Although, like you said, the rain is getting a little bit lighter now, and there is a dry line forming, but it's not enough time to make up to change the dries. Brugman getting a nice exit there, but nowhere to go. He's not going to dive down the inside deck. No, he isn't. So hold second. Oh, Brugman again a little bit sideways though. He's struggling in these conditions.
Of course, tyres and cars coming up to temperature and pressure at this point. You never
Here comes Strawn. Strawn on the inside of Ravio for 3rd position. He's going to be on the outside though for the hairpin. Although Ravio's going to break in the wet, he is just about going to hold it. Although Strawn's now going to have the inside for the next corner. Oh, a little bit sideways going out the exit, but he looks like he's got it.
Yeah, indeed, just carrying the momentum around on the outside of the hairpin. It's not over though. They're running through turn 12. Ravio have the inside for Spoon. He's later on the brakes to my eye, and he retakes. Strawn tries the cut back, but Ravio shuts the door on that one and holds his line.
And Brugman on the inside, McGlade, so it looks like Brugman's going to retake the lead, but McGlade can't quite tuck back in. In fact, he's got better gearing here. As we go down towards 130R, McGlade got the racing line, should be able to take it and retakes the lead.
And there's the difference right there in top speed. McGlade, I'd say, running a little less wing at this phase. And, well, there you go. He was able to essentially hold on to that place as the straight went on. Brugman not able to do anything there. So was tucked back in as they run through the Casio triangle for a third time. Our leading group still very close, actually. We've got our top 6 within 1.6 seconds of each other. We've had this once before, of course, at Spa in the first race. We had the top 8 all duking it out right to the very end. So everyone nice and close together in these very tricky conditions. Brugman having a little look there, I see, on McGlade down into turn 1, but there's certainly no way through this time around.
We've had our first retirement, Edward Batala, going down into Degna 1. He overtakes Pereira nicely, but in the braking zone, Pereira just misses the braking point completely, taps the back of Batala, who sadly goes straight into a tyre wall, loses the wheel, and that's him out.
Yeah, can't repair that kind of damage. Unlucky, but there is a second race, so still time to recover. Just keeping an eye on what's going on further down the field. Our current last point sitter, P15, is Aiden Paulson. Floor Dre. He is in a little scrap here, a little train with Philip Koenig, Hans Combibius, Martin Lepasser, and Patrick Wannemuller, all fighting over the P15 to P10 spot. Of course, Hims currently at the lead of that for Arrow International. They're making their way from Degnas 1 and 2 into the second sector. Wannemuller looking a little more composed through the second Degna there on versus Hims. So we'll see if that one moves around. But just returning to the lead of the race, it continues to be McGlade, but Brugman right up behind him as they run down towards Spoon.
I think his brother, Niels Brugman, has just... Oh, he missed his braking point at the hairpin, lost a handful of places there, so he's down into 13th now. Yeah, McGlade there earlier, defending at the hairpin, got a slight tap on the backside, I think, of Brugman. Brugman better on the brakes by the looks of it, but the gearing and well, Brugman's got a bit of a slipstream here. He's going to dive down the inside 130R. It's going to be risky. No, he's thought better of it.
Yeah, of course, he is one of our championship protagonists. Doesn't want to make a silly mistake, give a hatful of points away to his rivals. Main rival being Eric Scron, still in P4, unable to find a way past the very wide and well-driven car of Jonas Bravio so far this race, defending for all he's worth for Zedric Racing, and doing a very good job so far. And he continues to run P3, but let's keep an eye here between P3 and P4. Strawn having a real look. He's got a run. He might be able to try something if he's brave. He certainly sticks it up the inside, but he doesn't do anything there. I think just a sight to perhaps unsettle Ravio, perhaps force an error.
Ooh, Brugman as well, trying to put McGlade off, but yeah, he's going sideways on some of these exits. He's not got enough downforce in that car. As Philip Koenig is now up to 13th position. He started in 11th. He went down to 15th, lost a few places, but he's slowly clawing a few back.
Just keeping an eye on Brugman and McGlade. Yeah, it's interesting. It's pretty clear. Oh, McGlade, a little wiggle as they exit Dunlop there. Will that make it vulnerable down into Degna 1? Don't think so, but Brugman not close enough. But it seems that Brugman, for instance, is able to carry a bit more speed in the mid-corner, but just doesn't have anything on the straight. So I would say a bit more downforce on that Mad Peak Racing Team car. McGlade now right up against it as they run down towards the hairpin, but covers the line well, covers the apex. Brugman can't get a good early exit there to try and get a run down towards Spoon, although he's right on the gearbox now of the Kyle Racing car. They run through turn 12, a long sweeping right-hander with a little bit of undulation for good measure as they all know on the brakes down into Spoon. Still nothing between these two, absolutely nose to tails. They run for the second part of Spoon. McGlade very nicely driving the car right in the middle of the road, making Brugman doing all the work to try and get by him. Played a very good defensive drive so far on lap 5, 13.
Just seeing what's going on in that fight between 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Oh, 15th. Brugman has got ahead of Paulson for that last point position. Paulson looking at instantly coming back, but he won't be doing it through 130R here. It's much wetter offline, so Lewis doesn't want to go offline to defend a position, because if he does, he can't brake. So he's going to be kind of placing his car kind of half and half on it, although Brugman's going to have a nice slipstream down here.
He is, but can he do anything with it? Does he have any top speed to really make anything happen? And the answer this time around is no. Ooh, I think a little bit of potentially a touch there, but thankfully no drama ensuing. But I think we've got a situation here of, you absolutely correctly say, you know, the track is wet off the line, which all the cars are following. As a result, got to be a little bit earlier on the brakes, a little more cautious, and it's just not offering the opportunity to Lars to try and make his way through. So I do think at this point it's going to have to be a mistake from McGlade to allow Lars to retake the lead in the way that McGlade's driving right now, and hopefully this isn't Curse the commentator who's driving superbly. So yes, it's going to be certainly a tall order for Brugman to try and retake the lead of this one. Meanwhile, keeping an eye on what's happening for P3, 4 and 5.
Just watching Rolf Pass and Jarl van der Wiel in 31st and 32nd. Jarl kind of hit the back of Rolf there to take the place, and he's not going to give it back, and Rolf lost a place to his teammate as well. That's them down to 33rd. Oh, Consai Smith has gone round on his own though. Oh, I think that's him round. He's managed to recover it. Ben Willis also gains a place. They're all fighting, you know, they're fighting for nothing really at the back there, but they're still fighting hard for those positions.
Racing is racing, it doesn't matter where it is. So there we go, it doesn't matter where you are, if you're in amongst the podium, in amongst the point scorers, or in it
McGlade's
just...
gone wide, Brugman down the inside. Brugman's taking the lead.
Good speed, good spot.
Is McGlade going to be able to get this exit speed out here? He's going to have the inside, and he's got slightly better acceleration away. He's going to have to retake the lead. How did that happen?
So in the grand scheme, actually, McGlade, I think, took a fairly normal dry line. I think this Brugman had a bit more momentum through the midpoint, and he was able to get it up the inside, but McGlade has retaken it brilliantly. Here comes Brugman on the breakdown into the Casio triangle. Oh, McGlade's just braked a little bit late. He's recovered. He stayed on the island, which is the important thing. Ravio now right up behind him, and so, unfortunately, a little bit of curse the commentating. Naughty me. McGlade down to P2. Brugman retakes the lead as he completes lap 6, starts lap 7 of 13. And also worth mentioning, Eric Strawn, he was fighting for P3. He's now down in P6. Jesper Nielsen and Harry Neiman are getting by on this lap.
Also, Vandermiller gained 2 positions there. Sorry, lost 2 positions. Mebius and Lapassa both passed him as he went wide at 130R. So that's Vandermiller down to 12th now.
So what this has done is it's closed everybody up ever so slightly in amongst the top 5. They're even closer now than they were before. We've got just 1 second separating our top 3 and just 2 seconds separating our top 5. So very, very close racing. And Lars Brugman, the opportunity is now yours, sir. What can you do? You've got plenty of free air ahead of you. No spray to deal with, which everyone else behind you will do. As he runs through the first Degner, a little wobble as he takes the curb. So you want to take the curb there, carry as much speed as possible down towards the second Degner. And he's done that well. McGlade coming back ever so slowly, I'd say, and I think it's fairly plain to see that McGlade's definitely got slightly less wing, as the rain actually has just been keeping an eye on it. It's actually intensified ever so slightly. The difference between the online dampness and the offline dampness seems to have equalised, so it's definitely getting trickier out there. We'll wait and see who is going to succeed in this one. McGlade with slightly less wing and therefore able to catch up on the straight bits. Or Brugman with slightly more downforce. Perhaps he'll now able to pull a gap as he now doesn't have to worry about defending lines. We'll wait and see, but they're on this back straight down towards 130R. And here comes Ravio actually. He's having a look at the back of McGlade. Look at this. They're already nose to tail as they run down into 130R. We've got 4 cars all for the lead. And they're going to go 2 by 2. It's going to be like an arc.
Ravio going very late.
Ravio trying around the outside. Ooh,
he should get that place back.
Out of road. Has to be careful rejoining. Did I just see a little touch there on Nielsen? Have a quick look on the replay, but dicey stuff.
Yep, Lewis, his teammate Nieneman climbing out the 5th. McGlade's then taking the lead by the looks of it. What's happened there?
So this is just pure straight line speed. He just can drag by and does not have to worry. So as he comes out of the final turn, sure enough, Brugman defends, but McGlade does so much more straight line speed in that Kyala car. Just drives by Brugman. Brugman can do nothing, so he's back to square one. Lap 8 of 13. What can Brugman do? He has a slight disadvantage in top speed. He should have an advantage, though, as the rain continues to fall, with a little bit more grip from the downforce.
We've had our second and third retirements. Schroten lost it at the exit of Degner 2, and Rolf Bass sadly lost it at the hairpin, suspension damage. So only 3 retirements so far, as we're over halfway through the race.
Should also mention that Jesper Nielsen has set the fastest lap of the race. That was done a little while ago.
Lars is off, Lars is off.
Oh,
sorry for shouting that, but he just lost it out of the Degner, I think it was it. I don't know.
It was Degner 2, yeah, he lost it under acceleration of Degner 2, and he's lost his front wing. So he's going to fall down the order. He's down now to 8th, good spot. Oh, he's out, he's out.
Goodness me, yes indeed, just ran wide, got on the grass, and that's it. He has pulled that one over, so that could be a turning point in the grand scheme, because he is now going to lose 20 or so points if he had kept it on the island there, to his nearest rival being Eric Strawn. That is just going to be music to the ears of the ice-cold driver. Everyone moves up a place effectively. Lewis McGlade continues to lead. Jonas Ravio now to P2, and Kyala locking out the podium as it is right now. Ari Nieminen in P3, so clearly Kyala enjoying these wet conditions whereas Ice Cold and Man Cave perhaps not so much. So
I'm going to be watching the gap between Ravio and McGlade. It was 1.1, it's already down to 0.9, but we've already seen McGlade can hopefully stretch it out during the straights and not give Ravio the opportunity of slipstream. It's currently 0.6. Want to see what it's like at the first split, if it's been increased, but I was going to say McGlade's got a bit of a respite here, but lap 9 or 13 he definitely isn't.
absolutely, he's just making his way around turn 2 for the 9th time of asking so far in this first race. Just keeping an eye on what's going on elsewhere throughout the field. Fight for P15 and P16 between Philip Koenig and Tom Mackay. Mackay coming from the mid-20s, and he's having a little look here through turn 2. Unfortunately not able to get the power down to get past P15 Philip Koenig. Also keeping an eye, Thomas Hinds, he's gained a few places. Of course, one at this moment ago from Brookman's retirement. He's up to P8, he was running P10. Eric Strachan continues to run P6. Jesper Nielsen is in P4, and he's actually up with Harry Niemanen here. So we're going to have a tasty double dice for the podium positions, I think, before too long.
Here we are, and Ravio's, like I said, already on now on the back of McGlade, so his car's set up nicely for these conditions. Who is, as you see, Koenig is in 15th. Mackay, yeah, like I said, just behind him. Oh, Koenig a little bit sideways. But who's doing well team-wise? Obviously Kajala, first and third. You've got the Ice Colds, 4th and 6th. And 2 Cosmos, currently running 10th and 11th so far.
Indeed, Cosmo having a great round last time out. Well, gets that in our intermission, and that continues to be the case. Although I don't want to see a great deal, as I've already cursed Lewis a little bit earlier on. So we will stop saying things along those lines and get back to calling the action as is. McGlade continues to lead us here, but here comes Ravio. He has indeed reduced that gap ever so slightly, further by further. He's now just a tenth of a second as they run through the 130R. Can Ravio make anything happen here down into the Casio Triangle? He has a look. Kind of a bit half-hearted. He doesn't sling the car up the inside. He's nice and controlled, though. He doesn't have any contact with McGlade, and they get through there nicely. They are starting to build a gap ever so slightly to third placed Harry Niemanen, as I've just noticed Eric Strachan up to P5.
Yeah,
just past Ben Supenik. He's had a good drive to get up there.
Missed his braking for the last corner, and so Strachan got through. Although Supenik's trying to come back straight away, but not quite.
Last time around, Jonas Ravio half a second quicker than Lewis McGlade, so certainly is some pace in that Zedric racing car as we're coming towards the closing stages of the first race this evening. But what can he do with that pace? McGlade just covering the lines, trying to be nice and careful, just making sure he doesn't give any opportunity to Ravio to pull off a move.
Missed Niemanen going wide at turn 1, giving Nielsen the P3 at the moment as well.
Indeed, good spot. So that's a swap round for the podium position there. So now got 3 different teams on the podium. I think is a pretty good stance as far as these things go. So as McGlade continues his run here on the 10th lap of this 13-lap race, Ravio continues to hound, looking for a late apex there through the hairpin, getting that just about. But in the grand scheme, actually, McGlade got a good exit himself, taking the normal racing line. So no advantage to be gained there. Let's keep an eye on Nielsen, actually. He has set the fastest lap of the race, and he was actually quicker than Ravio last time around. So Nielsen is the mover and shaker. He'll be with the leading group before too long. Ravio through the exit of Spoon, though, trying all sorts of lines off of McGlade, and McGlade now going defensive. He's taking the racing line at this point, and Ravio's alongside. Are we going to have 2x2 through 130R? Yes, we are, and gosh, Ravio pulls that one off. He's run wide. He's run wide. He's run over the anti-cat curbs, and goodness me, he's done well to hold on to that one. He's not been able to gain the place there as they run into the Casio Triangle. For the 10th time of asking, Nielsen now is right with this group.
I'm currently watching the 2 Cosmos, who obviously have thrown team orders out the window and really, fairly, but really hard battling each other. Also 11th and 12th, Vandermuller, Stefan Wout. Oh, Brugman goes a bit wide. Sharanku's going to get involved as well. So yeah, 10th to 11th to 14th, really fighting each other.
So just to cut back to our leading trio as it is right now, we have Nielsen well and truly on the back of Ravio, and Ravio is not a far distance behind from McGlade, so we could have a humdinger, a grandstand finish towards the end of this one. The rain continues to fall, the track continues to degrade in terms of grip levels, and there we go. It is certainly getting dicier all the time. Our drivers, though, managing this one superbly. McGlade continues to lead. Runs through Degner 1 nice and cleanly. Ravio, I think, having to watch his mirrors here down into Degner 2. Nielsen really with the Zedric driver, not giving them any respite as they run up towards the hairpin. Nielsen has a little look, cuts back to the racing line, trying to carry some momentum, but Ravio parks the car, but oh dear, parks the car, gets no traction. And Nielsen now up alongside as they run through 12. That one will be signed, sealed, and delivered. Can Ravio come back into Spoon? We'll find out.
Going to see if he takes the inside, but that's done, I think.
It is.
Yep. Nicely done there. And Nielsen taking advantage of that. So this is all helping. Oh, somebody's falling down the order there. It's Thomas Hinz. He's had a problem. I'm going to quickly get a replay of that going into the hairpin. Oh, he just loses it on the exit of the hairpin. Yeah, he loses about 4 or 5 places. He's now down to 16th. Out of the points.
Not the only one on this lap. Ravio retakes second place. Nielsen side by side through 130R. We saw this last time around. Ravio keeps it on the island this time though. Retakes second place. So yet again, top speed is coming through there on that
Ravio's gone
straight.
wide. He's gone wide at the last corners there. So that's going to give Nielsen a chance. Yeah, Nielsen up to second.
And if he's not careful, Niemanen and Strawn are not that far behind him as well. So goodness me, recovered that position very well, but just a mistake down into the Casio triangle, and that's cost him the place again. So here we go. Lewis McGlade through all that has built a gap of 1.5 seconds to now Jesper Nielsen. So what can Jesper do with a couple laps now to go? We're on 12 of 13, the penultimate lap. Can Nielsen dig in and bridge that gap, or will he have to defend from Ravio? Only time will tell. In fact, Ravio already all over the back of the ice-cold cars. Oh no! One of the Cosmo cars, Patrick Wanham, I see, has just retired.
Yeah, I was looking at that just now. It looks like he's come through the final corner. He's lost it on the final corner. And that's him rounding out.
Goodness me, the walls are close. They're down at the end of the lap. Not forgiving whatsoever. I think it was Timo Glock in Formula 1 a few years back, actually. He did himself a proper mischief running off there. So unfortunate for Patrick. Race 2 winner last time out in Singapore. But let's return to race 1 here, because Nielsen is really having to fight hard, defending from Ravio all over the back of them there through Degner too. Niemanen and Strawn not far behind as well.
Nielsen backing them up for Strawn.
You want to know something? That was crossing my mind. It's crossing my mind, but in the grand scheme, it's going to be a mega move from Strawn to make his way past 2 cars in a couple laps. It's not going to be easy in dry conditions, let alone these incredibly wet conditions. What it is doing, though, is it is helping McGlade. He's able to just focus on his own drive, and he's building the gap all the same. Gap up by 1/10 of a second so far this lap. Although Ravio now, he's going to have a look, I reckon. Have a look down into 130R. Is he? Oh, no, he's not had the speed advantage he had on the last time around. They run through 130R. Oh, goodness me, that's Niemanen. Niemanen behind that little scrap, running a little wider. Oh, is that contact? I think that's a little bit of contact between Ravio and Nielsen. Nielsen down to P2, Ravio to P3, and now we have got a real humdinger in amongst. We're going to have 2x2. It's not quite the arc. It is raining, however. Down this back straight, Nielsen giving the slipstream to Strawn. Niemanen up the inside of Ravio for P3. He's earlier on the brakes. And goodness me, Nielsen having to brake a little more because Niemanen taking a slightly tighter line, not able to carry the speed. So Ravio up into P2, Niemanen into P3. Nielsen down to P4.
Mackay's had a big incident there. Going on to the final lap. What's happened there? Has he lost it? Oh, he got tapped round a little bit there by Taranku. And yeah, smacked both sides. But he's he's out. He's got no front right wheel.
Goodness me, so a few cars losing their suspension and their wheels. Certainly not the way to keep going in this race. Not really a good word to describe that. Just keeping an eye. Obviously, we've got this great scrap here for P2 and P3. Also seeing a good scrap developing for P9. Grout is fighting Mebius here, Cosmo, and there's a Niels Brugman, Philip Koenig not too far behind as well. So plenty of action still to go. Lewis McGlade, though, continues to lead. He's rounding turn 11, the hairpin, for the final time this race. He's done a superb job so far, but let's just keep an eye on what's going on behind him. Ravio has built an ever so slight gap, 0.3 of a second to Ari Niemanen. The Kyle cars currently locking out the podium, but here comes Strawn. He's got himself past Nielsen there. Perhaps a tactical move from the Ice Cold team. We will wait and see, but Strawn clearly feeling feisty as Ravio's gone wide at Spoon. So has Strawn. Nielsen up the inside again. Goodness me, Niemanen might have a chance here if he is feeling lucky, or will he take the 3rd place? I'll take the 3rd place if I was in his shoes. As you've got Ravio going defensive straight away. I think that was a little bit of muscular movement. Niemanen running wide. No, he's not. He's held that one on well. As goodness me, Strawn running wide again as they're running down towards The Casio curve, Nielsen up the inside. Lovely space given between those two. Niemann holds on to that one. Can he come back? We'll have to wait and see, because Lewis McGlade has driven a superb race. He's got that setup absolutely nailed on his Kyala car, and he wins in superb fashion. Race 1 here this evening. Yunus Ravio comes home in P2, and he is followed by Ari Niemann and Kyala. So that's a 1-3 for Kyala. I think their best result so far this year. Jesper Nielsen has come home in P4, rounding out our top 5 is Eric Strahan. We continue to have scraps though as drivers come across to finish their first race.
Yep, just seeing with any close ones for the final point will be Rob Mason down in 15th. Yep, he looks like he's got that. So yeah, kind of seeing where some people who are kind of near the back, anybody made, Vel Jankovic, all the way up to 18th from the back of the grid, or near the back.
So good drive, of course, is a reverse grid race. Our second race of the evening, anywhere from 15 to 20 will be reversed. So he's certainly in with an opportunity. We'll have to see what the magic number gods come up with on that one. But it has to be said, in the grand scheme, a very challenging race. Suzuka is challenging on its own. Forget the weather. Lewis McGlade, clearly running a little less wing, or certainly has a bit more top speed in his back pocket, has driven a superb race to win there. And he has been able to capitalise on sorting himself out there and getting a good early lead, just managed that gap, and he was able to fight off everyone around him. So a great win there for Lewis. Ravio there, battling hard, a little bit of contact. We'll have to see if that comes to any sort of review. And, well, Niemann as well, great result for him. Critically, though, Ice Cold, they continue to march on. They've always done this. They've always scored very well, and they've continued to do that even though they're not winning. Yeah,
I mean, Ice Cold 4th and 5th, Team Proline 6th and 8th. So, yeah, they've gained on them again. So it won't go. They won't win the constructors tonight, but they're going in the right direction.
Absolutely, and it is a way to do it. You don't necessarily need to win every single race, although of course it's very helpful. It's all about being consistent in these championship games, and they've done that to a T so far. So certainly handy points. Team Proline though are their closest championship or constructors championship rivals. They came home P6 and P8. So they have scored less points again, but it's not been a significant points loss. So we will see what only does the second race have for us in terms of weather, but how it alters things in the championship frame of mind. So there we go. Really intriguing first race. With the weather, we saw it coming. We knew it'd be a factor. And it's played out, giving us quite a mixed up grid and a, mixed up result.
Yeah, I mean, good to see Kajala all the way up there. And just kind of seeing who else. Neil's did about 11th place for Centurion, so he's got some points. I mean, quite a few teams getting points here. Kajala, Zederic, Ice Cold, Team Proline, YTF1, Cosmo, Deltec, Centurion, as I said, Triple 20, Katana. Yeah, I mean, at the back it was kind of a different car all the way, kind of pretty much.
Yeah, and it's it well and truly has shaken things up. I do love weather. It really does, put the cat amongst the pigeons. We've used that superlative quite a few times, and it really does vary things up. Give us, puts people in races perhaps they wouldn't have, in other conditions, and it always gives us some good racing. So, so there we go, a mixed up grid, and given that we will have a reverse grid here, I think we're going to have a mixed up second race as well. We'll just have to see if the weather's going to continue to play its hand. We shall wait and see. Anyway, now that we've had this first race, I did mention earlier, we have another race going on, that being an open series. And hopefully, Phil, have you been able to get your your hands on that result?
I have indeed. It obviously was a wet race as well, because the fastest lap time was a 1:57.5. So, yeah, I'm just looking at the results now. It's Tamu Cabrera who won the Open Series tonight with a gaining a place, having started from second. Christoph Lichtenstein, I'm guessing his name is, dropped a place, started on pole, and sadly finished second. And Niels Voss started third, finished third. Should give a shout out to Michael Bernard, though, who started 19th and finished 5th. So a good race for him.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. And always good to see drivers making their way through. Good battles being had, and we saw it up and down the pit lane, or up and down the grid, I should say. Sorry, as we're now in, we'll be moving to our second warm up of the evening. Yeah, great battles. Doesn't matter if it was for points or not. It was busy all the way up and down the grid, and it's the beauty of Formula Challenge. It always has some racing to have, and although we maybe slowly making our way towards the end of this season. There's always great racing to be had in all sorts of the range of motorsport that you can think of. We have the Open Series, the Open Wheel Series here at the GPVWC, starting with Open Series, moving on to these cars, from the Challenge cars, up the step to Super Cup and up to our creme de la creme, our world's best drivers here in the Super League, fastest machines available. And then, of course, we have Tin Top Series as well, if open wheels are not your cup of tea. We've got touring car action in the International Touring Cup. We have GT racing, I should say, in World GT. And although it has now elapsed, we also have our Carrera Series in the form of WSS as well as IndyCars as well. Let's not forget those. The Atlantic Series, final round of that will be coming next week, I believe, from COTA. So there we go. R Factor 1, R Factor 2, open wheel, tin top, whatever you like. All sorts to be had here. As I have just seen from our race director this evening, that the reverse grid number is indeed number 18. So unless I'm very much mistaken, that will put Rilankovic on P1, will it not?
I cannot remember. So yes, it does. Race director Chris Williamson, thanks very much for sorting us all out tonight. He is indeed.
So lovely stuff. As I was just taking a quick drink.
I think I will as well.
Not that there's not enough water falling from the heavens right now on the tarmac. It continues to be wet, similar conditions as we saw in warm-up before our first race of the season. So I fancy that we're probably going to see similar conditions again here for our second race. So of course, always the reverse grid varies things, puts drivers of different pace in amongst the top end of the field. But you never know. You really never know with these wet conditions. Sometimes that rain dance, sometimes that little throw of the dice with either setup or strategy. Well, not so much perhaps the strategy in these races. Typically, a stop is for damage rather than getting yourself to the end in the fastest way possible. But always does provide a little bit of variety, and I think the inclusion of weather is really going to spice that up a bit more.
Here's a question for you. I'm going to throw it straight to you. If you had to lose one between Monza and Suzuka, which one would you drop in the F1 calendar?
Oh, now that's easy.
Because there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, that Monza, haven't currently renewed their F1 agreement after next year. Suzuka, owned by Honda, another famous track. Which one would you drop if you have to drop one?
That is a very difficult question. That's a very difficult question. I think that's going to be a good one for the stream and Twitter to chime in on as well. If I had to choose between Monza and Suzuka, and it pains me greatly to say this, I'd have to say it'd be Suzuka. I think Monza has too much history in a Formula One sense, because it's been in every single official Formula One championship since Formula One as a thing started. And also, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Formula One, if it is touring cars, if it is GT cars, or whatever it may be. Monza is a very unique challenge, incredibly high speed, and you just don't tend to get that in many racetracks. Suzuka is a great track. Sector 1, as I mentioned before, stunning. I love it very dearly. But, there are other courses with great sections, with great corners, and I think you cannot replace Monza. And besides, there's nothing quite like those footage when Audi were testing the R14 LMP1 car. They were doing it at Monza, and they weren't using the first chicane. Curva Grande at full pelt. Goodness me, terrifying prospect. But you wouldn't see a car going over 200 miles an hour around a corner like that in many places. So that's my 2 cents. I think, Phil, as you're not a fan of Suzuka, this would be a slightly easier choice for you.
It would, indeed, for me, and also for Kenny Liber. Kenny Liber has gone the other way and said drop Monza, obviously.
Yeah.
And James Kirk also says drop Monza. So
it
seems most, yes. I mean, like I said, I think you've said drop Suzuka because Monza has more history. I've said drop Suzuka because I don't like Suzuka. So different reasons we're dropping the same track.
I'm going to chip in with this.
Oh, sure.
And I'm going to say drop both of them and get Turkey back twice.
No.
No. Bring back Turkey and South Korea. Because I think I'm the only one person in the world who actually liked that South Korea circuit.
I can hear the silence as you say that.
Yeah, if anybody on the YouTube stream wants to also point out that they love South Korea, do so now, please.
Or if you want to hear the tumbleweed, just take your attention to... there we go.
We've probably mentioned the weather, actually. We'll come back to this. It's still raining, surprise, but nowhere near as much as race 1.
That is true. It's certainly a similar dampness, wetness amount of rain as qualifying. So we'll have to see if that is indicative of just a passing shower or not. You never know. We may very well see it in this second reverse grid race here that we have tonight. Perhaps we'll start wet and it will get drier, or perhaps the other way around. So yes, we will see. But no, very good observation that the weather is slowly leaving, perhaps us. We will have to wait and see. With 12 seconds, though, of our second warm-up to go, not many drivers actually been out and completed a lap. We do have a few just running around now. Is that perhaps a sign that people are resigned to the fact it's going to be wet and they'll just run with that? Or what do you think?
I don't think anybody's going to pick dries unless it's a mistake again. Hopefully Schroeton has returned and learnt from his slight error. I can't actually see him at the moment though, so wondering he hasn't returned. Oh yes, he is here. He's just saying good luck everybody and have fun, which is very important.
Indeed, and yes, everyone again wishing each other good luck. I think in these conditions, yes, more driving as we saw in the first race. Always predict a bit of a drama in these conditions. Very well driven from everyone in that first round. And as it seems that everyone seems to be chiming in dropping bombs and bringing back Korea, I'm now going to go and looking at the chat. And,
well, I don't know about dropping Monza. I think there's just a few people have liked Korea, so yay, good.
There we go. But isn't that not the beauty of these race courses? You know, a little bit of different for everyone, and some people enjoy and drive better at some and not at others. It's all adds to the dynamic and the variability of this great sport. So it's all good in my eyes in the grand scheme. So there you are. So as we now have, I think, our rotation just about to happen. Our grid has been set. We'll be moving into our second race this evening. Top 18 reversed. Just two who unfortunately didn't make the cut there out of that top 20 from our first race.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
And with our grid now slowly starting to form, 30 seconds now for everyone to make sure they're on the right tyres, got the right fuel and so on and so forth. It continues to rain, a similar amount to what we were seeing in our warm-up session just a moment ago. And as if everyone is now forming up, Phil, would you like to take us through our top 10 second race here this evening, round 14?
Well, indeed, as Antonio Raujankovic, I will try and say it without K, but I find it very difficult. I keep saying Raujankovic, and it sounds like I'm saying a K. Anyway, he races Drake Racing, and he is on pole. And next to him, in second place, is Bruno Sousa Ferreira for Scuderia Brasilia. Jeffrey Fournier for Racing Team Schroeton is third, and it's Epic Racing's Rob Mason in fourth. Thomas Hinz for Arrow International Racing fifth, and Philip Koenig for Katana Motors in sixth. We then have Daniel Jaranku for Triple 20 in seventh, and Niels Brugman for Centurion Grand Prix in eighth. Stefan Rout for the Teltec Racing Team in ninth, and Hans Mebius for Cosmo Autosport in 10th.
Then we have the first Team Proline car starting P11, being driven by Mark Passer. He will be followed by Johan Lindberg for YTF1. Then we have Ben Supenik, the second Team Proline car, Team 14 will be Eric Strong, followed by his teammate, Racing 15. We have Harry Neiman, Kyala, Jonas Gravio for Zedric Racing 17, and Lewis Payne, winner of our first race starting P18. Kyala Racing. Andreas Ferreira, first of those who missed out on the reverse grid, starting 19, Racing Team Pro, and rounding out our top 20 will be James Ross, Woodbine.
Aidan Poulsen for Drake Racing in 21st, and Tobias Olsen for Basket Grand Prix in 22nd. Deltic Racing Team's Adam Oscar in 23rd, and in 24th position it's Jonathan Atterklinth for Downforce Izone Racing. We then have the two Dogecoin Racing guys of Sven Dirks and Gerald van der Wild in 25th and 26th position. Simon Watman for YTF1 in 27th, with Joel Piera Triple 20 in 28th. We then have in 29th position Black Market Brigade Simon Smith, and 30th position Gary Pasha for Scuderia Brasilia.
Starting P31 will be Tom Mackay for Centurion Grand Prix. He will be followed by Patrick Winnemer for Cosmo Autosport. P33 will be Ben Woods for Zedric Racing, and he'll be followed in P34 by Mike Schroeder for Epic Racing. Then rounding out our grid, P35 will be the first of our retirements from the last race, Edward Batala for Viking Racing. And while we've been doing the formation lap, you might have been able to pick it up on the cameras as we've been making our way through the grid. Goodness gracious me, it's not raining that much, is it? It certainly is wet on the track, you can see it, but the rain certainly has started to let up. All this roll the dice for anyone? Will they perhaps gamble on some slicks early on? We will wait and see.
I just noticed Van der Velde is at the end of the pit lane, so he is starting from the pits. I mean, he was going to be 26, so didn't see why he did that. I'm just going to grab a replay.
May have been miscalculation on the fuel or tyres, perhaps. You'll wait to as he will have to wait a quite significant amount of time, unfortunately, for everyone to make their way through the first sector. Lewis McGlade, actually, as well, from P18, and he's gone to, find a bit of the list, he's still on the wet tyre. He's pitted in for something, so we'll hope we get a line on that perhaps after the race, if he can come in for an interview. Anyway, so grid is now set. 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are racing. Everyone away. Yankovic, sorry, a good start. He's got a brilliant start, in fact. Celso Pereira has fallen into second place. Rob Mason currently P3, but challenged by Tom Hinds for our international down into turn 1. Hinds up into P3. Everyone rounding turn 1 and 2 for the first time. Movement and overtakes being made in the midfield, but yet again, it seems everyone's got away well. Not too much contact down into 1 and 2. Rankovic leads.
Nilsson went wide there and lost a few positions. Just trying to see what else happens here. Yeah, the guy, Lewis McGlade, is on dries, as is Ben Willis, where they come out the pits.
There we go. They've rolled the dice. They've gone, it's dry enough. And in fact, if you were to look at
We've
the
got
dry
round.
line...
It's Akakimp's round.
Yes,
so he's
indeed.
lost a few positions. So the dry guys are now on the move, so that's how far behind they are.
Rankovic running wide through the first Degner, but he was able to maintain control as he ran wide onto those anti-cuts. He continues to lead. It's certainly, I'd say, borderline dry enough on the racing line for slicks if you can tiptoe your way around. So Ferreira having a look at the back of Rankovic, but no way through. Hinds, though, looks to be nice and feisty off the start as Celso Ferreira. Goodness me, what happened there? Just ran wide through the long bank in turn 12, and he is going to be mugged left, right, and centre. He's gone from 2nd to 8th in just 1 corner. Just a loss of momentum there, and everyone's just filtered on by. So it is now our top 3, rounded out by Rob Mason, Thomas Hinds in P2, Rankovic in P1.
So I'm just looking at Lewis McGlade. Is currently, I mean, he's 30 seconds because there's a start at sector 1. He's going under the bridge just as people start going over it. That's how far behind he's going to be, but it could be an interesting decision to see if it works out for him. The pass are going wide there, losing a few positions as well.
Celso Ferreira, unfortunately, still under pressure through 130R. He's defending quite well. Several cars all wanting to get by him. He just went a bit wide as he's now coming into the pit lane. I think he's rolling the dice. He wants some dry tyres as well. Everyone else, though, continuing round. So we're going to have to keep an eye here on the lap times. Who is setting the fast times? I think before too long, dry tyres will be the way to go. No rain is falling. It's still damp offline, but it certainly is ready for dry tyres online. As Thomas Hinds leads. Goodness me. How has he done that one? In fact, he was leading down into turn 1. So I'm just going to have a quick look on the replay.
Did it in the chicane. Went up the inside into the first apex of the chicane.
Lovely stuff from the Our International driver. He leads as it starts to rain.
Oh, no.
Goodness me. Who's
Just
been
as
doing
Susan
the rain
Ferreira.
dance?
Just as Susan Ferreira comes out the pit, it starts to rain. Oh, we've got our first time at Lewis McGlade is already out. He took the dry tyres to begin with. He lost it at 130 yard, took a wheel off.
Oh. That is the risk you run, unfortunately, if you try and roll the dice in these wet conditions. But we've got, goodness me, cars off down at Degner 1. Who was that? I think it may have been... It was one of the Bastet cars, I think. No, it was Rout. I beg your pardon. It was Rout. Deltec was running wide, and he's now got a whole train of cars all over the back of him. Oh, contact! Contact with the back of the Centurion car. That was Niemann. He's got himself up to P10 off the start. There's a car off in the gravel there. So as it's starting to rain, it is really put the cat amongst the pigeons. Hinds continues to lead. Rankovic not far behind though for Drake. Niels Brookman up into P3, passing Rob Mason there down into Spoon.
Seeing he's currently holding the last point position, it is Johan Lindberg of YTF1. They're all very close to each other. I mean, right, it's raining, but it's not exactly getting much wetter at the moment. So dries could still prove useful at this moment. It depends if it gets heavier.
I think at this point, if I were on the slick, I'd be diving in. I don't think this rain is going to let up before too long. It looks too heavy for that. Just keeping an eye though, as usual, Eric Strawn, master of the second race, he's up to P3 for Ice Cold Racing, P15 or 16 or so. So great start for him, mastering these reverse grid races, scoring good consistent points in both races here. As Rankovic takes the lead of the race, Thomas Hinds in real strife here. He's fighting off 2 cars. Niels Brugman trying around the outside of turn 1. That'd be quite something to get that one done. And he hasn't quite. Little wiggle there from Hinds. Niels Brugman up the inside through the second part. Just to have a quick look on the replay of that one.
Well, that's all going on. Paulson has actually switched to tries, so he's another one rolling the dice, even though it's raining.
There you go. So all sorts of, well, I'd say strategy calls going on. The rain is falling, perhaps not as intense as it was about 30 seconds ago, so I'll very likely eat my words yet again. But there you go. It certainly would seem at this point, having completed 2 laps on our third.
Sousa Ferreira comes back in to change the wets.
Oh, contact! Big contact! Koenig on Hinds, down into Techno 1. I think that was just a little unfortunate clash of wheels. Hinds down to P20 at this point from P3. Down inside, Koenig tried to go up the inside over that curb, spat him out into Hinds. Hinds, unfortunately, a passenger, losing all sorts of places there. Of course, everyone's so close in this early phase of the second race. Really unlucky there for Hinds. Late move there from Koenig has cost them both dearly.
Indeed, looking at the gap between Brugman and Jankovic, it's not much, only a few tenths at the moment. Strong all the way up to third, though. So that's good for Ice Cold and their Constructors' Championship push and his own Drivers' Championship push, in fact.
Absolutely. The LRS.
Brugman's gone very slow out the exit, so Brugman's going to get destroyed down the straight. He's already lost second position to Brugman as Strong, sorry, as Jupenik had a look. What happened there? That was very
Just
odd.
got out on the curb, it seems. And dare I say, did the car bottom out on that curb?
Now it's suddenly chucking it down.
Yes, well,
That's suddenly come out of nowhere.
Whoever's done a rain dance, well done. You've done it very effectively. As I'm sure a few drivers now are ruining your dancing ability. Rankovic continues or regains the lead. Eric Strachan, though, up to P2, and he's well and truly in the slipstream of the drag racing car. Here comes Strachan. Can he do it on the brakes down into 1? He's on the outside. Rankovic holds his line and has the inside for the second part. But can Strachan hold on? It's going to be a left-hander down here. In the next corner, he'll have the advantage, and it's done. Wow, stunning stuff around the outside of turn 1 and 2 from Strachan. Really imposing his merits so far here in this second race. He's done it all so far this year, and that's another stunning move in the book there for Eric Strachan.
Just looking at Ben Willis and Aidan Paulson are both out in very quick succession, so just trying to see what happened there. So we've had 3 retirements already.
So, certainly this second race is proving a real challenge for drivers. Those rolling the dice, unfortunately, seem to have been caught out. But there you go. That is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So, our top 3 is Eric Strachan from Rankovic, and Niels Brugman is rounding out our top 3 right now. Ben Supanik over Team Proline, and this is important. The constructors' fight is in E4, so he's not very far behind the Ice Cold driver. Of course, the difference in points between first and fourth is fairly significant, but still, point scores are the important thing at this point. So we're seeing Thomas Hinds up in P6. Goodness me, so he's tumbling down the order earlier. That may have just been a timing glitch on my side, but he's in P6, so he's recovered well there from that contact earlier on. So good to see.
This is very interesting. We've got Wattman and Ackerklimp, 32nd and, well, taking 32nd and 30th, which I'm slightly confused about. They're going around on drives, but when that shower has come out of nowhere, they are struggling to get the power down anywhere. Yeah, 32nd, 31st, sorry. And they just can't, I mean, they're going under the bridge at the moment. Wattman's stuck at Degler 2.
Wattman is, in fact, he's lost his rear wing and his rear right tyre down at Spoon. He's been there for some time, in fact. I'm trying to figure out what happened there, but goodness me. On the brakes, and he's just lost the back, unfortunately, and he's gone in. So that is the end of that. Broken car for him, which is unfortunate. He has now retired.
Yeah, so that's him out, and so far Ackerklimp is kind of making it just about to pit lane entry. I think he's actually managed to get in okay now.
Well, so, well driven, not easy conditions. We are definitely wet track conditions. That can be said. We are, I would say, just as treacherous as we were in the first race now. So a little bit of let up in the weather at the start has really, I think, thrown the field a bit. I'll tell you what, who has it, or who it hasn't thrown, Eric Strachan. He's now leading and has the gap now to, half a second as Rankovic spins out of Dunlop. Goodness me. Put the power down, and he has got that one, unfortunately, a little bit wrong. He has recovered well. He's in P4. But goodness me, he has really lost some momentum there and some advantage. Just running out of Dunlop, it's blind on the way in. He's just run wide, and he's just put his rear right tyre on the slippy stuff, and that's him round. So real pity for him. He's in P5, he's recovered, but not what he wants to see.
So Simon Wattman also out, and Van der Wild both struggling. So we're now already up to 5 people retired. There's these kind of mixed conditions now, but now it's definitely wet.
Absolutely, definitely wet.
So no messing about now. Strand now with a 2-second lead. And it is, yeah, it really is chucking it down. It has to be wet tyres. I think everyone is now on wets now.
Certainly would seem so. Those who are still running, obviously wet tyres the way to go. Yo Pereira just retired from the race. Didn't see what did that for him, but he has retired. Suspension damage being listed on the monitor. So a little adventure, unfortunately, into the wall, down at Spoon, I think. So another one bites the dust, unfortunately, in our second race. I think that was a move done by Niemanen. Yes, indeed, move done by Niemanen on Thomas Hinds. Harry Niemanen up to 5th place for Kayala Racing. A bit of movement. Rankovic continuing to recover. He is dropping slowly down the order down to P7 from following that spin earlier on.
So Pereira actually, he spun on his own, but then Batala, sadly, was just totally unsighted and hit him. And I think actually that did the suspension damage.
There we are. Eric Strawn last time around, fastest lap of the race by a health margin. 1.4 seconds faster, in fact, than far behind. So clearly enjoying the mixed conditions. Now he can just focus on the clear road ahead of him and building a gap nicely up to 3.1 seconds. I think the issue here is, oh blimey, another one of tyres, Riera.
Riera, just getting a replay of that now. He's behind Oscar. He's dived down, he looked like diving down the inside of Degner 1, fought better, and yeah, just kind of finished there. That was him done.
Oh dear. Well, there we are. Rate of attrition, unfortunately, in our second race here on lap 6 of 13. But as I was saying before, Strand just focusing on his own race, very similar circumstances to the second race at Spa-Francorchamps. Not having to fight anyone, he's just focusing on his own race, and he's driving brilliantly in these very challenging conditions. The weather still persisting, the rain still not letting up. He's doing a great job. Ben Supenik, though, 14 Pro line, he's up to P2. Good result so far, good drive so far from Benz, and that's good points for the Constructors' Championship.
We've got another person out, Olsen.
Oh, and Willis, by the looks of it, as well. It's goodness, they are dropping like flies. And one thing I've just noticed, unless I'm very much mistaken, which is quite a good possibility, I cannot see Lars Brugman in this race. So did he? So he certainly retired from the first race, but I don't think he took the start of this one.
No, he hasn't. So that's even more points dropped. Olsen there, just going through the S's, just kind of got a tank slapper, and that was suspension damage, and that's him done. Yeah, now there's been the gap between Strand and Schwennick is now up to 5 seconds.
Yep, Strand just driving his own race, and he's doing it superbly. Pennick just keeping himself clean. He's got a second or so gap to the car behind, being Niels Brugman. But yes, goodness me, Lars Brugman dropping more points effectively on Eric Strand, and well, this could indeed be a turning point here in the championship. Time will tell on that one, but certainly, obviously, dropping points this late phase is not what you want to be doing. So a shame for him there. But let's just have a quick roundup as Thomas Hinds for Arrow International. He's just getting past there, Stefan Roll, Deltec down into turn 1, I think that was. Just having a look here on the replay. Hinds, in fact, defending from Hansko Mebius for Cosmo. Fending him off, and Rout just running a little wide. Hinds able to capitalise there for E6.
So looking at James Ross is going to hopefully safely get out of the way here for Eric Strand. I think it's to lap him again, believe it or not. Nope, it's the first time he's lapped him. Yeah, we're going to start having lap traffic.
Yes, and this could be an interesting factor here. Of course, not too much traffic ahead, but of course blue flags have to be respected. But what I would like to say at this point, while our leading 5 are starting to find their own gaps, we've got a cracking fight here going on for P6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. All of these cars pretty much nose to tail. We've got Hinds, Rao, Mebius, Saranku, Rankovic, and Wanamula all involved here, all for midfield points here. Rout obviously recovering from that moment earlier on, really hounding the back of Thomas Hinds. Hansko Mebius defending from Rankovic. And we've got Zaranku well and truly bought in on the back of this as well. As we've got Watman now
he
retired earlier.
Yeah, very Jankovic diving down the inside of Vandermüller there.
Wanamula up the inside for 130R, and he's got that one done. Lovely stuff there from the Cosmo driver. As we've now got Zaranku wanting to have a piece. It's 3 wide down into the Casio chicane, and nasty stuff. 3 into 1, don't go. Zaranku losing a place there, I think, to Wanamula, as Rankovic holding onto that one. He's up to P9, so a little bit of a shuffle around there. Now got Rao in P7. He's under pressure from Mebius. Beavis trying around the outside of turn 1. He's left it late. He's kept it on the island. But
Oh,
not able to make
Jaranku
his way
died down
around.
the inside of Vandermüller. It wasn't really going to work there, I'm afraid. Mackay makes up 2 places there. And yeah,
Still
now
recovering.
Jaranku going backwards now. He's going to be out the points in a second.
Yeah, I think just trying to force that one. He's a bit sideways through the S's there. Yeah, just trying to force a move, which, well, in these conditions, I think it's you've got to be very, very precise. Or not precise enough there. This time around, he's got Van der Weide, or Dogecoin, I think he was. He's just retired from the race. So we are up to, well, we've got quite a rate of attrition here. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 or 7 cars retired, and we've got 2 cars lapped. And we're on lap 8 of 13. So we are slowly making our way towards the end of the second race here this evening. Eric Strawn dominant, 6 seconds up the road from Ben Supenik in P2. Clearly now he's just driving his own race, not having to worry about a thing, having a lovely time. But Jesper Nielsen now, second Ice Cold car, is bearing down on the Centurion Grand Prix car, Niels Brugman, that final podium position. All these points on offer here for the Constructors title, all available. Let's see if Jesper can make a move here and get on the podium.
Yep, that's going to be really good for against Team Proline. With only one kind of scoring. Sorry, Bentz is currently second and the Passat is currently 13th. So they will be gaining a lot of points over them. Oh, Stupenik's gone for out. No, he's managed to hold it, but he's probably going to lose a position down the straight. No, he's managed to get back on the circuit. Okay.
Just having an eye here on the replay. Oh yes, Bentz just locking up the rear axle, it would appear, down into the Casio triangle. Final chicane, but he did a great job of catching that one, getting it on the straight and narrow, and he's held on to his second place as Nielsen up into P3. A lovely move around the outside there of Niels Brugman down into turn 1. He's got a few moves around the outside there completed, and he's got that one in the book nicely, so lovely stuff.
Just looking at, I think Ravio's got Vandermüller for 11th. So, and last points paying position is currently Sharanku, having lost the load earlier. Although Fournier is only a second, under a second back. There's a few movers and shakers. Oh, Sven Dirks going off the exit of turn 1 has lost a couple of positions. He's down to 19th.
Indeed, all to play for. Final points paying position. You got 4 or 5 cars all lining up, wanting to have a slice of it. Thank you very much. And not only that, the last point paying car, as we mentioned a second ago, Zaranku, he is all over the back here. 14th place, Philip Koenig, Quintana, going through Dunlop. The brave one trying to get a move done through there. Certainly a one-line corner, but he's certainly having a look. Certainly trying to put Koenig under pressure as he runs into the first Degner, a little bit sideways in that triple 20, but he's holding on to it. And he's got just about enough traction out of the second Degner to stay with the Quintana Motorsports car, but can't affect the pass here down into the hairpin. The passer ahead though, quite slow. Slowing everyone down. That effect of all the cars closing up on one another can catch the driver out. To win, particularly in these conditions, it can really affect you, and well, it certainly would be a pitting offence. Oh, Zaranku up the inside. There's contact with Koenig. Door slightly open, but that was never a move. Much like a pink corn in a republic, no choice or no place for him there. So there we go. Koenig held on to that one well. Zaranku still coming back at him though, but not fast enough on this back straight towards 130R to get the pass done.
Yeah, at the moment we've got Nielsen all the way on the back of Stupenik. He's going to make up a bit more gap here going into turn 1. Is he going to have it go down the inside? Stupenik's covering it off. Nielsen's going to try down the outside. Quite an interesting manoeuvre. Is he going to then try down the inside later on? No, he's not, but he's right on the tail, and so is Brugman. He wants a piece of this podium malarkey as well.
Absolutely, plenty to play for. Unfortunately, Edward Patala just retired from the race. Yet another one to add to the list on rank 10 of 13 as Eric Strawn. Just loving these conditions, evidently. His fastest lap of the race set last time around. He's just a casual 1.8 seconds quicker than the car behind him, so you know, it's all fine. Just dominant in these conditions.
Patala there with, it looks like he got a tank slap around Spoon.
Yeah, Spoon curve, very tricky corner. Caught out quite a few cars. Curb as well. You get bottoms out on either the mid-part curb or the exit curve. You can really lose a whole fistful of time quite easily. So, claimed a few cars, add one more to that list.
So Hinzi now is all the way up to 6th position. So he's had a good recovery drive. And yeah, Koenig, Jaranku's got past Koenig in the end. So it's Koenig taking that last points position in 15th.
Is indeed, just keeping an eye on the scrap, which is now slowly developing, in fact very much on the boil, I would say, between Zupenik and Nielsen for P2 and P3. This important in the constructor's sake. If Nielsen can get by, seal out a full 43 points bucket of points here for Ice Cold in the second race. That'll be very handy in the constructors fight, but we've got Dupenic defending for all he's worth. But here comes Nielsen up the inside for 130R. He's quicker in a straight line. Can he get it done? Oh, there's contact. Goodness me, but thankfully not enough to unsettle either car. Nielsen takes second place, and oh, is that another touch down there? Oh, I think a touch, and there goes Niels Brugman over the curb. A little bit of airtime there for the Centurion driver. Goodness me, it's getting a bit scrappy, but the net result of all that through the final couple of corners here on lap 10, starting lap 11, is Jesper Nielsen up into P2. It's a P1-2 for Ice Cold Racing as it is right now. The track conditions, I haven't mentioned them in a while. It's raining, but not anywhere near as much as it was earlier. The conditions slightly drying at this point, but still most certainly wet tyre territory.
Apart from Adam Mosgo, he's decided he's going to have a go on the slicks. He is currently in 25th position, but he's got the slicks on. It'll be a very brave choice, but I think it's going to be the wrong one, I'm afraid, my friend.
Well, you roll the dice. Unfortunately, I think in the grand scheme, it's a little bit late to try and make some places, but
well, no, DNF. It's always... Ravio's out.
Oh, yes.
So he has
spot.
gone down the inside of Fourier. Oh, and he's just gone wide at turn 1, turned it into early, and finished off there. That's his evening finished.
Goodness me, he was setting fastest laps of the race in the very early stages, so clearly enjoying the very wet conditions. Perhaps, you know,
Nielsen's
middle
got down
conditions.
to 4th.
As Hinz for P6, he's really under pressure from Rankovic, and Rankovic has a better exit from the second deck that is on the wet stuff as they run down towards the hairpin. Hinz giving him space. Oh, a little bit of contact, all a bit clumsy. Here comes Raut. He's going to get by the Drake driver, who he's gained a place. But yes, that defence a little late, I would say. He sort of got on the brakes before or in the braking zone, then kind of let off to try and get up the inside again. So a little bit of contact, not ideal. He holds on to P6 for now, though.
Nielsen down from 2nd to 4th. He went wide at Degner 1. That let Bentz through Degner 2, and Niels got him on the exit. So yeah, he's gone from 2nd to 4th. Still a decent amount of points for Ice Cold, though.
Oh, absolutely. That's quite a change, because obviously P1, P2 as they came across the line last time around. Bentz to be able to get by. That's obviously handy for Team Proline in the Constructors' Championship. 11 laps now completed by our leader, Eric Strawn. Everyone else coming around now to complete their 11th lap. We're on lap 12 of 13, so the penultimate lap of the racing here in the Formula Challenge this evening.
And
not
Stefan
that far to go.
Raut's up to 6th. They've got ahead of Thomas Hinz. He's going a little bit wide. He's going to have a poor run down. Jankovic is going to get 7th probably as well. Oh no. Hinz's gearing is brilliant. And obviously not quite as much downforce. But yeah, he's catching up to Stefan Raut massively. He couldn't find somewhere to pass him.
Indeed, we've seen it plenty in the first race. Again, Hinz proving that that straight line advantage. Oh, a little touch there between the two. Hinz in place now down into P8. But there you go, a little bit of straight line speed advantage could do you wonders, as he's now got the brace of Cosmo Autosport cars to deal with. He's got Mebius and Wanamula right behind, Kai not too far behind either in P11. So all sorts going down there in the midfield. By far and away the closest scrap. Eric Strawn now 10 seconds up the road from Ben Zupenic. He's just driving absolutely superbly. Zupenic though has to keep a slight eye behind him. Niels Brugman continues to be on the march. But here comes Jesper Nielsen for P3 now, into P4. Bit of line there through the hairpin, but not able to get the traction. Niels Brugman closes the door. Ari Niemanen for Kajala. He had a great first race, finishing on the podium. Can he make it 2 in a row? Certainly having a look into Spoon. I think he's just going to take a seat here, watch these two scrap it out, and perhaps take the opportunity when it comes.
Looking at Taranku, Spencer Dirks, Fournier and Rob Mason have one hell of a kind of a chin dig at each other. Lots of little taps going around there. You've also got Adam Oscar and Bruno Sousa Ferreira on dries, and yeah, not exactly setting the timing screens on fire. As Fournier's round, Taranku's kind of holding it. Oh, Schroeter's getting involved. Oh no, Dirks round. They're kind of, I think Taranku was trying to hold back to give the pace back, and they're all happening.
Hinz off. Hinz down in 19th. Oh, goodness me. It's all gone wrong. He's gone into the wall hard at Spoon. What happened there? Oh, goodness me. I think that was a little bit of miscommunication there. Wanamula just a little later on the brakes, unfortunately, just got into the back of the Arrow International driver, and that's Hinz in the wall. And I think that's the end of the race for him. He's certainly got all 4 wheels, but probably not all pointing in the same direction.
Yeah,
real pity there for him.
And one of the teams on dry tyres, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, suspension damage at 130R of a tank slapper, so he is out as well. Thomas Hinz, I think, is still going round, however.
Ah, well, fair enough. Of course, so close to the end. Good to see, obviously, bringing the car home.
Oh no,
Doesn't matter.
he hasn't moved actually, believe it or not. So that's odd.
Well, there you go. Well, we are on the final lap of the race. Eric Strong continues to lead. The gap grows lap by lap. Harry Niemanen, though, up into P3 as we got Jesper Nielsen down into P5. So it's slowly falling down the order here in the final few laps. Here comes Niemanen, though. Nice little line there through the second Degner. Not able to get by Niels Brugman here. This for the final podium position. And Niemanen on the brakes nicely down into the hairpin. Nothing on, so he'll just carry his momentum.
Because it's not raining. It's not raining anymore, so now these wet tyres are not kind of performing as well as they could on the racing line.
Indeed, and you never know, you may see drivers looking for wet lines to cool the tyres down. We will see if that happens. Here comes Niemanen up the inside at Spoon. Oh, space just about left. 1 car's width is all you need. Niemanen holds on to that one. He takes 3rd place through the exit of the Spoon curve. He doesn't have far to defend as the rain starts to fall once again. But let us cast now our eyes to our leader. He has maintained yet again, just got himself, took care of himself, run his own race. Eric Strachan, another step forward towards this year's championship. He comes home to win the second race here this evening at the Suzuka International Race Circuit. He has won by a dominant margin. It says 12 seconds at the start of the last sector. We'll see what it is when Bensu Pennick for Team Proline. He comes across the start-finish line for P2. It is 12 seconds. Harry Niemanen holds on to P3 after a great move there up at Spoon. Niels Brugman comes home in P4. Jesper Nielsen will be in P5, and we've got movement. Rankovic in P6 by the looks of it. Mebius fighting off Lindberg. This is going to be a photo finish between the YTF1 and Cosmo driver. Lindberg winning that one. Rout coming home P9, and rounding out the top 10 for Cosmo is Patrick Wannemuller. We will run through the final point scorers as well. We've got Philip Koenig coming home P11, Martin Lapassa coming home in P12, Tom Bakay in P13, Mike Schroten in P14, and rounding out the point scorers in our second race this evening, Rob Mason. There we go, an action-packed race. We had a little bit of a quieter race at the front, but plenty of action there in the midfield, plenty of chopping and changing, and a bit of a higher attrition rate there, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said, some people trying the dry tyres, which just didn't quite work. Ironically, now's probably the best, although it's starting to rain, but right now would have been the best time to test them. Simon Smith in 19th position. There's a little bit of sliding as he is the final car to finish, I believe. Oh no, we've still got Akaclip, who is going to finish nearly 2 laps down, but not quite. He's currently 22nd. Yes, a very high. I mean, let's have a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cars, I believe, retired for suspension, accident, or DNFs.
Well, there you go.
Nearly had another one there. Akaclip goes wide at 130R. But yeah, he's holding it all together to be the final car to finish along the line.
There we go. Suzuka's always a challenge. It's a tricky course to get right. High speed, low speed, a little bit of everything. Mixing in the weather, of course, this makes that challenge all the more tricky as Akaclip has now crossed the line, our final finisher. And goodness gracious me, second race, definitely a higher rate of attrition. That's fairly obvious. But there we go. I must say, I'm really pleased. The first race, very, very good driving from everyone. Second race as well. Didn't see too many dramas. And hopefully, before too long, we may have drivers joining us in the broadcast room here for an interview. I can already see our race 1 winner is there. And well, let's crack on while the sun starts to shine, perhaps. Lewis McGlade, congratulations, sir. A superb win there in that first race. Your car, a little bit more top speed, absolutely worked perfectly for you there. Great win, sir. Talk us through it.
Yeah, the qualifying was a bit of a shock. If I'm honest, I didn't really expect to get second, although we talked about it a little bit afterwards, where if you'd have come in and got on the slicks, probably could have got pole. Jesper tried it though, and he crashed, so it probably wasn't the best thing to do. But yeah, race 1, it was I was so slow through the S's section. That was really obvious. I know. I think it might have been pretty obvious that Lars was holding back a lot pace wise. Obviously me and Lars are good mates, and he's a bit ill at the moment as well. So yeah, the top speed basically won that race for me. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have been up there at all. But I was just so slow to the S section. That's why Eunice could catch me so much. And that's kind of why Jesper didn't when Jesper got into second, because Jesper was running the same setup that I was. And the wings were obviously quite low. We were running basically a dry setup.
there you go. It worked well for you.
Hmm.
I can't imagine, obviously, driving a drive setup in well, very wet conditions. Great drive all the same, then. It's obviously those running around you with a bit more wing can perhaps take a little more liberty with turning the cars through the corner and things. Well, great stuff, Lewis. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll have to move on at this point because we now are joined by our second race winner, Eric Strawn. And yeah, again, Eric, great drive in the second race has netted you a really very, very useful number of points, both for yourself and driver stakes. Also, the constructor stakes, exactly what you want to be doing towards the tail end of a championship. Talk us through the race. It was very dominant, one word to describe it. Well, towards the end of the season, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know, I just had a very good flow and just managed to get past car after car, and then when I finally managed to pull a gap, then it was just hit your marks and just go. There's no point doing anything else, so yeah, that was pretty good. Round 1 was not quite as good. I went completely the wrong way on setup at downforce. Even though I was told that I shouldn't do it, I did it anyway, which I've learned from my mistake now. So yeah, race 1 not very good. Race 2 couldn't have gone much better. I do want to apologize to Mr. Lindberg. I did hit him in the first corner a bit, quite hard, which, yeah, that's on me. Sorry.
Well, there you go, and well, very good, obviously, to mention that. And well, it was pretty clear, just from where we're sat watching the race, the setup choices. You know, some cars running not very much wing, some cars running a lot of wing. Regardless, those conditions very challenging. From a driver's point of view, obviously the rain it livens things up. It makes the car a bit more difficult to drive. You know, for our viewers, you know, talk us through that kind of challenge. Is it something that you relish, or does it just an extra thing to deal with?
I think it's just an extra thing to deal with, considering, I mean, I don't turn up to races with having done no practice, and unfortunately, most of my practice was done in the dry. I mean, I knew it was wet. It was just, it doesn't tell you how wet it's gonna be, so you don't know if you're aiming at 20% or if you're aiming at 60, or like today, bit of both, from depending on what lap you're on. So, um, I don't know. I kind of wish it would be a bit more stable, but I know it's an old piece of software and there are limitations, of course. But that's it's a fun challenge. But when you get it wrong, it's pretty frustrating.
Indeed. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us, Eric. Great results. Again, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And now, pleased to say, joining us, our second place finisher in our second race, and pleased to see him again, Ben Zupenik. Ben, great drive from you in very tricky conditions, and very handy points in the constructors championship for yourself and Team Proline.
Hi guys, hello to the viewers. Yeah, it went quite good on race 2, but I had a really bad qualifying session because I think I had some wrongs with the setup and I had some suffers with it. So starting from P15, it was quite hard, but I can grab a P6 at race 1. And I don't know what happened with Lars, but it is really crazy that how unlucky he is. So I don't want to earn a P2 in the championship in the way like this. And yeah, race 2 was even better because I finished P2 as you said, but I think my first lap weren't the best, as I had some touches, contacts with the others, and it was not really smooth as I wanted. And the RFI plugin was a little bit tricky because I thought the track is getting dry after the first lap, so I planned with Sandy to go into the pit, but it would be a wrong call as it works totally hilarious, and in the next lap it started raining again very heavily. So I stayed on the wet tires, and I had some fights with Jasper, but he had made a mistake, so I can get the P2.
Yeah, it's a very handy second place, plenty of points to come with it, and And well, we are unfortunately heading towards the end of the championship. Our next race, 2 weeks' time, will be at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. Is it a circuit that you enjoy, Bence? Is it offer anything which you enjoy? One of our themes of the broadcast so far is tracks which we enjoy and not. Is it one that you do like or not?
Well, it's a good track with a good rhythm, but honestly, I'm afraid of the tire wear again because I have some problems with it. I try to use some other values in the setup, but I think I have to choose another types of settings. So maybe that will be the biggest challenge in the next 2 weeks to make a setup which is good for a race.
Well, I hope that all goes well. So thank you very much for joining us, Bence. Great results for you tonight. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And with that, yet another round of the GPVWC Formula Challenges in the books. Well, here's our silent partner, apart from the odd moment where you call something out to us. Cam, thank you very much for operating the cameras. Hopefully everything looked okay on the stream for you viewers tonight. A challenging race, not one I want to be in. How about you?
No, I do not envy the guys. I've had limited experience in the wet weather on RFAT using the RFE plugin. I think the most I've driven it is Monza in the WSS cars, and that was a complete drift fest. But great racing once again. Perhaps a little bit too much contact here and there, but I guess that's understandable given the wet weather. But no, there were some good overtakes into the Hitachi Automotive System chicane today.
There you go. You do like your politically correct corner names, don't you, Cameron?
I do indeed.
Well, there you go. And well, Phil, we know that you're not particularly keen on Suzuka, but you have to admit some pretty good racing in very challenging conditions tonight.
Yeah. I think Cam's correct there. I think in race 2 we had a quite a high kind of fallout rate there and quite a few contacts in the midfield. I'm sure there'll be protests submitted for that, and they will be looked at. But yeah, all in all, yeah, fun evening.
Absolutely. So with that, it is time, unfortunately, to round out another broadcast, another round here of the Formula Challenge. As I mentioned a little while ago, 2 weeks' time, our next round here of Formula Challenge will be coming from the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. Join us same place, well, we think same place, same time for that. We do have more racing, though, from the GPVWC coming up in the next few days. We have Super Cup tomorrow from Suzuka, as well as Super League as well on Thursday. And with that, I would just like to thank you all very much for watching. The broadcast has all worked out well. Any feedback you have, feel free to leave it in the chat here on YouTube or tweet at us at GPVWC Live. And with that, all I'd like to do is say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all